All right, so move on to the final segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on Sheduer Sanders sliding in the NFL draft and being a fifth round pick. So there's always two sides to the story here. So I'm going to defend Sheduer Sanders, and then I'm going to give my take on why possibly Sheduer Sanders might have slipped to the fifth round. So side A is going to be me defending Sheduer Sanders because there's always two sides of the story. Now, in my opinion, there's no way in hell that Sheduer Sanders should have fallen to the fifth round of the NFL draft. And yes, I understand that Sheduer Sanders, to a lot of people in the public, was not the best quarterback in the NFL draft. Obviously, that was Cam Ward, and he rightfully went number one overall to the Tennessee Titans. But after that, it's debatable who the better quarterback is between Sheduer Sanders and Jackson Dart. And after that, how the hell was there three more quarterbacks taken over Sheduer Sanders? And Sheduer sliding to the fifth round? That doesn't seem wild to you guys? I mean, Tyler Shue, an injury-prone quarterback that has had 2 to 3 season-ending injuries in his college football career. Mind you, he played 7 years at the collegiate level. How is he better than Sheduer Sanders based off of after what you've seen at his combine and the tape that you've seen at Louisville? Then Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is a project pick, very inconsistent throwing the ball at times at Alabama, has a tremendous upside as dual threat, but how does he go over Sheduer Sanders in this draft? And Dylan Gabriel going over Sheduer Sanders. Dylan Gabriel did put together a pretty good tape at Oregon, but is he a better overall player than Sheduer Sanders? And if the Browns were going to take a quarterback, why did you take Dylan Gabriel in the third round? And then why did you take Sheduer Sanders in the fifth round? The only team that I could see doing that in a logical sense in the National Football League would only be the Cleveland Browns. You could draft a quarterback early in the draft and then possibly one late. But for the Browns to do that, I don't know. But Sheduer Sanders has some work to do. He has a chip on his shoulder. The league is watching him. And I want to see how he overcomes this. This is something that a lot of players experience, but someone that was arguably the second best quarterback in this draft class should not have slid to the fifth round, which is pretty diabolical. Plus, the prank calls that this man got being played with by the Falcons defensive coordinator's son, a frat boy at Ole Miss, calling him on the phone saying he was drafted by the Saints, only to wait until the next day. I mean, damn, could this brother catch a break? But as I digress, yeah, that's my thoughts on Sheduer sliding. But then side B would be accountability. Always two sides of the story here. Now, don't get me wrong, Sheduer Sanders can ball. And obviously the tape showed what his 2 years that he played at Colorado with a bad offensive line, and other than Travis Hunter and some good wide receivers, he really didn't have any help with that Colorado team. And Sheduer Sanders had a total of 4,000 plus passing yards at Colorado last year, 37 passing touchdowns. Colorado just actually had the most wide receivers selected in the 2025 draft class. So don't tell me that Sheduer Sanders deserved to slide to the fifth round. Somebody's got to be throwing these wide receivers the ball. But the accountability part, that's why I said there's always two stories to this. And we'll probably learn more why Sheduer did slide, because yes, Deion Sanders was kind of talking crazy and saying that his son will not play for certain NFL teams, which you cannot do when you are not the best quarterback in the draft class. And from the reports that I've seen, if Sheduer was really, me and you guys out there, we're doing an interview, and I disrespectfully getting on a FaceTime call when I'm trying to bust my ass to get to the NFL and to have scouts and general managers fall in love with me and possibly draft me, I'm not answering that phone call until later on. But apparently Sheduer Sanders was doing these things. Look, bottom line is, it's over with. Sheduer is now a fifth round pick. You're in a quarterback room with Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. Is the job winnable? Yes. We'll see what happens. But from here on out, Sheduer has to be careful, because you already got a chip on his shoulders. GMs like to talk. Coaches like to talk. Owners like to talk. One bad rep and one bad vibe for Sheduer Sanders, the word could get out, and teams could possibly refuse to give Sheduer Sanders a chance after this. So Sheduer, in my opinion, has to be very, very careful about what happens next. But guys, I'm a conspiracy guy at times, but I don't do it with sports. But what if the NFL the NFL came together and said, hey, let's let Sheduer Sanders slide for day 2, day 3 ratings, because their ratings were, I think they were at least over 4.8 million in views for day 2 and day 3 picks, which is actually insane, especially for day 3. That's like round 4 through 7 of fiesta of 6 to 7 plus hours of football. So, hey, it's all said and done, but we'll see what happens with the Sheduer Sanders situation. Will he take it and run with it and be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns and possibly be the quarterback that the Browns have always wanted? We'll see what happens next. But actually, I just thought about this also. It's crazy that the Browns could have actually had Travis Hunter and Sheduer Sanders on the same team, because the Browns had the second overall pick, but they didn't draft Travis Hunter. They got a massive haul in return. And Sheduer Sanders was drafted the Browns. He could have had the Colorado reunion. But as I digress, those are my thoughts on Sheduer Sanders sliding to the 5th round of the NFL draft. And that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.